Hello and welcome to Seahawk Talk on Wednesday, April 21. I'm Ed Habishaw, and as always, I'm joined by our Assistant Sports Information Director, Andrew Pizzelli. Welcome, Andrew. How are you?
Good, Ed. Good afternoon. This time I'm back in my box. I was out at baseball last time, but now I'm back in my box. I'll be heading to a field, though, shortly after the show.
For a doubleheader. You had a single game last Wednesday, and now you got a doubleheader in a different sport today.
In an actual press box, too. But we love the donkey at baseball.
We do love the donkey. It serves us well. So it allows us to keep our distance. Well, right away, we show how we miss Gavin Parent, since he won't be with us either on screen or behind the scenes as a producer, but we wish him well. And we will see him later tonight helping you out with what?
Men's and Women's Lacrosse is tonight. So, as you said, doubleheader today out at Gaudet. It's crazy. There's so few games left. I'll have to double check how many for the men, but Women's Lacrosse, they end their season with 2 home games. Tonight, they'll be home at 4 o'clock. They have the early game versus Nichols College. That game...
And the men just played Nichols last Sunday.
Yeah, it's kind of one of these weird... So the last time the women were... We all know the last time the women were home. We talked about that last time. The lights went out at the field. They were home versus Curry. This time, the men will be playing Curry. The women will be playing Nichols. So 2 games left for the women, 4 games, including tonight, left for the men. But the women start with Nichols. That game will start at 4 o'clock out at Gaudet. Really interesting note in preparing for the game, the Nichols College women's lacrosse head coach, William Mraz. It's just his second season, so he's looking for his first career win. Only 2 games last year. They're 0-3. It's his 30th year of coaching. He's the Czech Republic women's national team head coach. Still is. He serves as both Nichols head coach and that position. That's incredible. I want to ask this guy when we get to the game.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because it looks like he's just kind of bounced around New England schools. How did you wind up being the international coach for the women's team in the Czech? And then how did you come to Nichols? How are you here in Little Middletown, Rhode Island for a game tonight when you coached on the world stage for the European Cup? So I'm looking forward to getting some tidbits from him for the game. I spoke to head coach for Salve, Bill Villarreal, a little bit earlier today. I know he's excited after spending some time out on the road to get back. They got a big win up at Gordon in the rain. It was a nasty weekend. But they 7 goals, 3 assists from Katie Doherty on Saturday, which creeps her up now. She just got her 100th career goal not too long ago. She is now 9th all-time in program history in career goals, and showing no signs of slowing down either. So she could leapfrog into 7th place tonight with a very routine 4-goal outing for her, which is entirely possible. So Seahawks are trying to win 2 in a row. Only 2 games left for them, trying to make the postseason. On the men's side, they'll be home versus Curry. We're hoping this time the late game, we shouldn't run into any timer issues, but there's going to be some severe weather. I'm just hoping a thunderstorm doesn't knock the power out this time. I promised Chris McKeon, the SID at Curry. I said, listen, I'm hopeful that we keep power this time.
Because he was the visiting SID when the lights went out.
When we played the women last
the
week,
women's side.
a week and a half ago, whenever. Time is just an
2 weeks
illusion,
ago, yeah.
at this point. But yeah, hopeful that we keep power and we stay on schedule. Records could be broken on the men's side as well. Pat Leary is 5 goals away from tying his program's all-time mark, 144 goals held by Andrew Farah. So he could tie or surpass that mark tonight. I know I was speaking with Pat Cooney about that before they went on their little road trip. I said, hey, it's entirely possible. I joked. I said, hey, I think he needed like 14 goals.
A routine 14 goals.
I said, have him save it till maybe this home game. But I said, but hey, if he wants to go and score like 14 goals against Endicott, be my guest. Go do it.
That would be more than fine.
I'll accept that. Shattering,
That's what they
probably
played last Wednesday.
Yeah, shattering probably not only Salve records but probably an NCAA record for goals scored in the game. But Pat Leary will have a chance tonight to tie or better that all-time mark on the men's side. So a lot of history. Same deal. Can't do it in one game on the women's side. Just jumping back for a second, but Christina Myers, 3 wins away in net from being the all-time leader for Salve Regina netminders. So would need 2 wins in the regular season and a postseason win to do that. I don't know her plans as far as coming back for a 5th year. So many of these kids, only these types of marks that looked like after their freshman and sophomore years. Oh my God.
Reachable.
Very reachable. And then they only get 2 or 3 games their junior year.
And particularly,
which is a shame.
Andrew, in case of a student that's majoring in nursing, they're not typically going to go for a 5th year. They're going to graduate and then get out into the working world.
Maddie Villarreal, great example of that. Was
Where
not just a season away, but like a game or 2 away from claiming career all-time marks. I think about somebody like Danny Aruzioni on the men's ice hockey side. They didn't get a season at all. He would have only needed a game to claim a whole bunch of points and goal records. So it's
and while he's not a nursing student, he could be moving on to professional.
He's looking at
professional
prospects. So yeah, different reasoning, but the same idea. Not coming back for 5th year. We'll gladly take you back, Danny. If you want to come back and grace us with a 5th year, you are more than welcome. But
not only in ice hockey, but in esports as well.
Yes.
Well, he could do that remotely, I guess.
But yeah, a lot of history could be made tonight for men's and women's lacrosse. So definitely worth tuning in. We'll be bringing you the games as long as we have power.
Yes. And
that's usually never a stipulation we have to make, but after last week, 2 weeks ago, I kind of have to make that that stipulation now. Anyway.
Well, I'll transition right here to Katie and Christina's teammates, Megan Ryder and Hannah Smith. They were on hand to present a wonderful check. Obviously, it's a mock check here, but in the amount of $928 with the Fans in the Stands program that our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, supervised by our very own Matt Finlayson, who was an athlete here, 2004 through 2008. They generated a really healthy amount for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And Megan and Hannah were here to present a check with masks on, sunglasses as well, because they want to look fashionable. But what a wonderful program that was. And of the 30 plus folks that submitted a purchase of a cardboard cutout for Fans in the Stands, more than 30 were from our baseball parents. So I want to give a huge shout out to our baseball parents who really contributed greatly to that cause, not only benefiting the National Alliance on Mental Illness, but also putting fans in the stands literally for us, because we are not allowed to have spectators at our home events or at our away events, as they're all within the Commonwealth Coast Conference. But it really made an impact. I know when we talked about it last week, men's and women's tennis hosting a combined match with Roger Williams on Saturday, April 10. When we put up 10 of those cardboard cutouts. A handful of them were family pets that were on display. The players, seeing that, their reaction was priceless because
Yep.
they knew they couldn't have mom or dad there, but they had the equivalent of that in the images represented up on the fences. And then fast forward to last Wednesday when you were covering baseball, we got to show those baseball fans in their true setting in the bleachers behind home plate.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, so many great things with this. I mean, one, and most importantly, that the money and the cause of mental illness and mental health and awareness, we've talked about that a lot here on this program, and there's been so much of that discussion just in this past year plus. So incredible to continue that, talking about mental health and mental illness and contributing and actually doing something, which is always great. And then, as you said, the kids and doing it for them too, seeing their reactions and familiar faces in familiar places, whether it be parents, siblings, grandparents, pets. It makes a difference, and guess what? That also that helps their mental health too. Kind of bringing back that sense of fun and normalcy. You brought up, Hannah, who was presenting that check there. Well, we had fans in the stands Saturday in the rain at baseball as well. Hannah Smith was there before the game in the rain, setting those up for that game before she caught a bus to go up and play Gordon. So big shout out to Hannah being out there, ensuring that those faces were there. We were talking about it, like, should we put them up? Are these rain? Like, we don't want to put them up and have them get ruined. But they are weatherproof. So she was there, setting those up and then racing off to go catch a bus to go up and earn a victory for her team. So 2 W's on the day, getting the fans in the stands and beating Gordon. How about that?
Awesome. And you were on hand last Wednesday when those fans were in the stands. So they're in on a game-by-game basis. They don't stay out there overnight, right?
Well, no, I mean, we don't let fans just stay at the facility when the game's over. It's time you don't have to go home, but you can't stay.
On, do they?
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That applies to cardboard cutouts as well.
Right. Well, this past week we got to recognize 2 of our Seahawk athletes. Zach Lopez was pitcher of the week for baseball. He had 2 outings during the week. Suffolk in the game that you covered on Wednesday. He was the starter there, went 3 innings, a shutout ball, and then he finished the week with 3 shutout innings against Roger Williams in a great split that was necessary on Sunday up at Bristol after Salve, Regina, and Roger Williams split their baseball doubleheader here on Saturday.
Talk about a weapon, huh? You can come in. Hey, Zach, we need you to start. Go 3 innings. Pitch a shutout. Okay. Oh, hey, Zach, we need you to come in like the 5th. Can you pitch like 3 shutout innings? Okay, cool. Thanks. Absolutely, just the versatility and the mindset. I mean, you like to say like, hey, it's pitching. You just come in and you pitch and you're ready. But there is such a thing as guys, who are used to being relievers and used to being starters, and to be able to come in, not just across the season, but literally within days and fill both of those roles, that's impressive. And not just to come in and do that, but to perform at a high level as well. So big congratulations to Zach. I got to see it in person. Yeah. The last time he faced Roger Williams was 2 years ago. He got the final outs of the championship for Salve. And then, showing the Hawks that he has not lost a step in 2 years either. So great for Zach. And then also, while we didn't get to see this person perform at home, Sam Johnson, who was a freshman last year, his rookie status continues into this year since they didn't play last year. He gets Rookie of the Week based on a 2-win performance for his Seahawks up at Western New England on Wednesday. A week ago today, Sal Regina men's tennis traveled to Springfield, Massachusetts, and played the Golden Bears. We got word from Coach Adam Zakara that match was tied 4-4 with the final match on court in Clark D. Piazza, a senior captain, having won his first set. It didn't work out in the Seahawks' favor for the ultimate outcome, but Sam Johnson, tremendous
day on the courts for Salve Regina, winning the first match of the year for the Seahawks because they had been blanked in each of their previous outings. Actually, no, they had lost 7-2 to Nichols earlier in a non-conference match. So this was their first conference victory. And Sam and Jack Cooper, a freshman, posted that win at number 3 doubles. And then Sam followed that up with a straight set win at number 5 singles. So a great day for Sam on the courts in garnering the Commonwealth Coast Conference Rookie of the Week honor. Well-deserved for Sam. And they didn't get to play this past Wednesday, but this past Saturday, you were busy with baseball. You got to welcome in Jonathan Lynch into the broadcast booth, and that was a tremendous listen. Not only did our baseball audience get to listen to that and watch it, our tennis audience as well. We StreamYard our tennis matches to 3 destinations: Facebook, which we're doing right now for SeahawkTalk, Salve Regina Men's Tennis YouTube channel, and Salve Regina Women's Tennis YouTube channel. So 3 destinations going out for our tennis broadcasts, our tennis matches, especially when it's a combined match. And we had a rain delay on Saturday. What do you do during a rain delay? You try to give some people some content.
Let's toss it over to the baseball game.
Well, I actually went live with tennis at 11 a.m. when Western New England had just arrived. We see their bus pulling up. And so I click go live. And that's really when the rain just started to
began.
Fall, too. Yes. As soon as you press live, dribble, 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 drip, drip, drip. I had 2 cameras set up. A GoPro up along the fire escape on the Antone Academic Center. It was protected by some tarp. And then I had a Canon camera with pan and zoom capabilities on it set along courtside at court level. And I had an umbrella attached above it so that it could somewhat protect it from the elements. Not completely, but I took a risk. So I went live with it, the 2 camera setup, and then the coaches talked it over. Coach Zakara from Salve Regina, Coach Jen Collins in her 21st season at Western New England. They met in the driveway leading into the tennis courts off of Leroy Avenue. They had a good discussion. They said, hey, it's a Saturday. It's April. It's New England. We're going to stay in Newport for a little bit, Coach Zakara. So actually, when in Newport and you're a tennis person, what do? You go down to the Tennis Hall of Fame. So they took a visit down the road, down Bellevue Avenue, and went to visit the Tennis Hall of Fame. Coach Zakara
nice to have, huh?
Job. It really is. And Coach Zakara did a wonderful job contacting the Hall of Fame and making sure that it was going to be okay for not just one team, but 2 teams from the Golden Bears, their men's and women's tennis teams, to head down there and go through the museum. It's such a beautiful museum, and the history of tennis is on display from the late 1800s through current day. It's just an amazing thing to have in our backyard, technically. So while they were doing that, we let the stream run. So we're showing wet courts. Every now and then I interjected from my office location right here and faced the camera and said, hello, I'm Ed Habershaw. Thank you for tuning into our stream. We're currently
nice and dry here in the office.
Oh, very dry, very dry. I had to dry off because I had been out in the rain. So I put some scrolling comments at the bottom and at the top that the Golden Bears were visiting the Tennis Hall of Fame while they were in Newport. Be patient through our rain delay. We hope to be having some tennis action later in the afternoon. So I went back there at a little bit before 1 o'clock and realized, you know what, the weather isn't getting any better here.
No.
At least for a 1 o'clock start or even a 2 o'clock start, maybe. So I said, you know what, let's give these people something else to chew on. And I brought you and John Lynch in from your audio broadcast first, because I was playing it on my car radio through my Bluetooth. And then I said, why not add the video as well? So I screenshot the video feed and added that to the stream. So we were showcasing Sal Virginia and Roger Williams baseball to a larger audience, not just the big fan base that we have already with the Seahawk and Hawk baseball programs.
Yeah. And I meant to, at the top of the show, you brought up social distancing and being able to stay distant in the donkey. Needed that. That really applied Saturday, having Jonathan Lynch, a former Salve pitcher, assistant coach, former student worker for us in the sports information office. Just a great, it feels weird. I want to say kid, but he's not a kid. He's a young man. Great young man. He was awesome to have on. Just his own input from having been a player for that team, but also serving as a coach, the tremendous amount of insight, and having competed against many of the players who were on the field for Roger Williams to be able to give insights. Yeah. You know, I faced this guy. I know, his approach at the plate, or this is what this guy's strengths are, and knowing situational stuff, to just a tremendous amount of wealth of information to bring to a broadcast, which helped me out, on a cold, dreary, rainy day, not having to be alone in the press box covering the game. But I just wanted to give him another big shout out and thanks. I mean, having him was phenomenal. I said, John, you are welcome back any time.
Like his dad. And he was an assistant coach for the 2019 team that won the championship at Roger Williams, while his dad, our favorite, Brian Lynch, joined you on the championship broadcast.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know if is it woven somewhere into like the bylaws of the Salve Athletics broadcast that you just can't turn down a Lynch if a Lynch says, any generations, John's kids someday could say like, oh, Mr. Habershaw, Mr. Bazilli, we want to come on the broadcast. It's deeded. It's deeded in. We have to. It's
automatic with no questions asked. It's just automatic. I was fortunate on Sunday to be joined by Michael Dubuque, who helped out Sean Foster in our men's basketball program a couple of years back. He's volunteering for us and helped me advance our softball broadcast because, almost like you, we ran into issues a week ago Wednesday. You had the lights go out 2 weeks ago Wednesday at Gaudet. At Topa Field, our traditional softball location doesn't really, it's okay for a backstop camera view with the GoPro, and we get
it's a great vantage point. The service is terrible.
Yeah, if you're relying on a Wi-Fi signal, you're headed for trouble. And we did last Wednesday. We apologize to anybody out there that was looking to view our live feed from softball when Sal Virginia softball was hosting the University of New England. Right away, I knew my software was telling me, you've got a bad signal. This isn't going to work. So I immediately, with Gavin Parent, switched over to record-only mode, and he did a wonderful job broadcasting the game, and we recorded it, and then later on posted it. So going forward, I realized we've got to get a better location for the broadcast, but I also didn't want to lose that behind the backstop location as well from a camera angle. So what I ended up doing was getting two cameras from the Topa Field press box, which overlooks the football field, not from the 50-yard line, but close enough. And it overlooks left field on the softball diamond. So we set up cameras there, and we got some nice highlights that I want to show here. And then later on, we'll talk about what else we were able to do. So here's some highlights from softball that Sal Virginia split its doubleheader with Roger Williams last Sunday, April 18. And because we had an outfield shot for the first time, we were able to showcase some great outfield play, not just by the Seahawks, but by the Hawks as well. Here you go.
Nocella with the 0-1. That's into the gap in center field. Oh, and Rubino's counterpart, Jax below, making the sensational grab heading towards left center. So a well-struck ball by Francesca Rubino, but a great catch by her counterpart in center field, Jax below. That ends. And we'll have Tara Chitowski, Howell, and Taylor Chitowski batting for Roger Williams in this inning against Maddie Fluke. That's to left field. And a great dive and grab by Kendall Dupre.
So that's footage that the GoPro behind the backstop would not have captured or would not have done justice to. Even the iPhone that we ended up placing behind the backstop ended up being a better camera than the GoPro has been, because I could see right field Caitlin Bennett out in right field. I could see first base well, and almost I could see Sophia Straza at third base for the Seahawks too, whereas when it's with the GoPro, it's such a wide angle that they look really, really tiny on the screen. So
yeah.
it was nice to be able to cut to that on occasion, and then cut to the outfield cameras on occasion as well.
Whenever you're in an outfield broadcast location, you just have to train your mind. Okay, right is left and left is right. Because even as that ball's hit, I'm thinking like, oh, to right field. No, wait, that's not right field. Duh, that's left field.
Yeah, it is a challenge. But rather than say location, if you can just say the player's name that you identify out there, you're even better. You get yourself
or you just say
making that mistake.
If it's in a way, if it's an opponent and you're not even sure of their name, or you don't want to like fumble it, you just say fly ball.
Let me catch up to this. Let me look at my cheat screen. I've
so and so gets under it,
giving me the information,
and they make the catch in left field.
Well, want to give a quick mention to Father Scott Ponce. We've wanted to have him join us on Seahawk Talk on a number of occasions, but guess what? We can't, at least not live, because he's featured here today on a recapture of Mercy Mondays, the Chaplains Corner. He's been our chaplain since August 2020, and this Sunday he's celebrating an athlete mass, a student athlete mass during the 7 o'clock service at Our Lady of Mercy Chapel on our campus. We had scheduled it a long time ago for the Saturday after Easter, April 10, but we wanted to do an outside service for that. And you know, with the outdoor weather, you're never guaranteed, especially in New England, that you can actually pull that off. So fortunately, we're going to be able to do it this Sunday night, 7 o'clock, which is the traditional match that students attend overall because of their Sunday schedule, which allows them to either A, play games, or B, sleep in.
Yep.
On a Sunday, and then get to the 7 o'clock mass. Obviously, social distancing still applies. Masks must be worn, but I encourage all of our Seahawks, whether you're an athlete or not, to attend the mass on this Sunday evening, 7 o'clock in Our Lady of Mercy Chapel. It'll be sports-centered with some themes, including persons that are nearing sainthood that have an athletics background. So he really does a nice job of connecting our young athletes with similar young athletes who have strong faith.
Yeah. This was supposed to be part of D3 week, but like you said, the weather eats up all things in the spring, so great to see it finally happening. And
Sean Foster, our head men's basketball coach, he's been with us for many years, and he recognized something on a website, I believe it was WTNH, the New Haven television station in Connecticut. They did a nice feature on a former Salve Regina football player who happens to have the same professional football rooting interest as I do, and that is the Oakland, Los Angeles, now Las Vegas Raiders. Tommy Slocum, just like I have, has stuck through that transition over all the location changes for so many years. Here's a nice feature done by Ann Nyberg of WTNH that I wanted to showcase because Tommy shows where his passion is.
He's a tattoo artist from Groton whose art just now happens to be on the walls of the brand new Allegiant Stadium for the Las Vegas Raiders. The stadium was looking for artists to reflect the team and the city, and Tom Slocum submitted some pieces, and voila. His work was selected and is now permanently on the walls of this very futuristic football stadium. Tom, welcome.
Hey, Ann, how are you? Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. How did you go to work on what you were going to submit when you were asked? They specifically asked you to concentrate on Raiders legend Ken Stabler.
Sure. So, I mean, fortunately, I've been a fan of the Raiders for a very long time, so the history part was already there. And then I put a design together. They asked for some sketches, and then just made it happen.
Well, good for you. Now, what is the size of the works that are on the wall of this? The stadium is just amazing.
It is. It's a sight to behold. I can't wait to go out there and check it out. The Stabler piece was a 60 by 48. And then there was another piece that was 48 by 48, which was a Ghost of the Post rendition. And then a Jim Plunkett piece was also 48 by 48. So you can imagine it was quite fun to ship.
Wow. All right. So what kind of medium did you use? The same kind of inks that you would use with tattooing or something different?
Oil paints on canvas was the medium, and some spray paints as well. And that was it.
So where did you get your training as an artist? Because it's just phenomenal.
Thank you very much. Well, I've been drawing faces since I was a little kid. Learned how to draw some proportions from reading comic books. And then I went to school at Salve Regina University in Newport and studied under some great professors. So just honing those skills really comes together when you get a chance to be a part of a project like this.
So you've shipped it out there and you have not, for yourself, seen your work on the wall.
No, only via photographs and some videos. Due to COVID, everything was shut down. There was supposed to be an in-person reveal last year, but everything got pushed back and then it eventually got canceled. So they did an online reveal via YouTube in the final episode of a show called From the Ground Up.
Sure. Now, what does this opportunity mean for you, not only as a tattoo artist, but just as an artist?
I mean, your dream is to have something make other people happy or be a part of life long after you're gone. And I have paintings now in essentially a big museum, and they'll be around long after I'm here. So it's exciting.
Well, Tom, just fabulous. And for those who go to Allegiant Stadium, they're going to see your work forever. Thanks so much for joining us.
Honored to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
You bet. And to find out more about Tom Slocum, his shop Red Skies Collective, or the pieces he created for the Raiders, check it out on WTNH.com or the News 8 app.
That's South Virginia's Tommy Slocum, who celebrated his birthday 2 weeks ago. He's from Groton, Connecticut, played football here for 3 years, outstanding defensive back for the Seahawks, and now outstanding in studio art. So my thanks to Andrew Pizzelli and to Tommy Slocum and to all of you for joining us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. My name's Ed Habishaw. Have a great day, everybody.